he said. I lied. Did they not tell you I was the father of lies? I find more pleasure in betrayal than I do in honor. Think not my titles go without proof. And he waved his hand for his minions to commence as he watched. Reason 13. The Greek god Jupiter and his consort Juno. Indeed, this is not a planet, this is a man, imposter. Obviously not a god for daughters. Planets do something entirely different than impersonate themselves as men who have women, nor do they ever appear as men. Think. 24 page. As will be made clear, what we are dealing with at times is interplanetary, extra-dimensional, highly intelligent space scum. One simply has to think that although some may perceive already that we are alone in this universe, which is profoundly untrue, if we blew up Earth it would cause a chain reaction of cataclysms for the entire galaxy. Thus we have been governed by higher forces that oversee the timing of events so the crazy dictator doesn't slip on the nuclear kill switch. There are principalities, rulers, forces, and dominions in place working out an entirely larger scheme that makes Earth more of a value subdued, not destroyed. Think of the loss of resources and biological data. Earth is a storehouse of genes working together well enough. For one moment do not doubt all these genes are in cryotubes fully catalogued and ready to implant into other worlds, which is a part of terraforming a planet and getting it prepared for higher life forms like me and you. Since we know there are other beings with other senses, we can endeavor to obtain those senses also. This separates us from animals who seldom openly enlist the help of humans. This also means that some who have higher senses have already discovered harmony, the benefits of a collective mind, the power in numbers, the elements, etc. Thus there is a place to go. It is entirely possible that the knowledge of even how to alter an entire planetary frequency with just insects that also emit sound frequency is in the Orion arsenal of technology. This moves us further into the intelligence of beings who are more advanced in some ways than us. We could go so far in imagining what they have and what they can do, and we would more than likely be right. However, what is of value here is to show that they are not the creator of all things. They too had a creator, and if we find ourselves in service, it should be to that only. They are no doubt involved in our evolution. There can be no question of it. Just as the will has saved us endless amounts of time and effort so we may travel further, faster. If these beings gave us TV, or should I say things like the cathode ray tube and the integrated circuit, that's enough altering right there, case closed. The way many beings feel about Earth is they would not give something that looks like dust compared to Antares and Betelgeuse the honor of destroying this whole galaxy. Everything must evolve in time, and for this segment of the human race the time is long overdue. The lower dimension now awaits, occupying the spot we are in now. Since the information vault is now open, you can gain a higher level of esoteric intelligence, without being fully initiated, and thus stuck in some lower dimension slave world ruled by jealous megalomaniacs because you joined the wrong group chanting Namaste, Namesat. Some of the most valuable portions of this information has come from higher beings still reaching back to help along the children which we all are. They gave no names, and they demanded no worship save to the original creator in which all things will eventually have to face, and it is patient, shrouded within itself, majestic and wise. Many of the forces that have invisibly protected and guided the human race have long since ascended beyond points where they can any longer interact with the Earth because of contamination and its lack of pure ideas. Thus there is a heavy need for new ethereal planetary workers, not Golden Age materialist. 25 page. On the flip side, there are those working with the dark force that have kept the masses in this recent segment of time away from the true wisdom. Their doctrine is to know, dare, will, and keep silent. One should understand their oath to keep silent. They are all around and they would never reveal their identity. Those who have read works like The Art of War and The Law of Seduction should get a general idea of how they operate in business, much less in the spiritual world. These particular books, written by Sun Tzu along with works by Machiavelli such as The Prince and various other shrewd titles, are required reading for the upcoming business elite. In addition, they do not just read but put into play the methods being elaborated upon as if the world is only a giant chessboard with human pieces. Even now this particular work which you hold in your hands is allowed to reach the mainstream not because they could not easily stop it, but because it fulfills another one of the prophecies, thus they cannot plug the loophole that has been made. Although they plan unceasingly, the Most High is the greatest planner. Have you not noticed the forces that seek to hinder always tell what is to come in the future before it happens? Even in the Bible there is always a solemn warning by the prophet before the destruction. This is in fact a law of the universe which exists so that all conscious beings on a planet may have a choice of whether they want to participate in the collectively planned future of that planet, attempt to do something to prevent it, or emancipate themselves from it entirely, which is always an option. We do hold the master button on our personal earth life. If we want to really exit, we can make it happen. Some type of choice always clings to us. Our future is the beautiful fractalized shape of a myriad of choices. As you see within the word planet, there is a plan here which we will just call Planet 10, which means the end of one world, and of course many new worlds will begin after. Our status in the ungoverned worlds beyond has much to do with our accolades and milestones that we have crossed in our previous world of origin. This information always remains on our aura even if we are unaware of it. Think of yourself known throughout the whole universe as someone who assisted your race in ascension. As all things are recorded, that's what the record will reflect once the deed is accomplished. Every action we make will always be contained somewhere. It determines what we are to face next on various levels of action and reaction. It can always be accessed and cannot be erased, just balanced. If you were strong, did you protect the weak? If you were truly wise, did you share your knowledge to your best ability? If you possessed wealth, did you distribute the goods committed to your charge? It was known that each segment of astrological time is controlled by a particular planet. That planet is responsible for emitting the energy that is necessary to accomplish what has to be done during that cycle. The universe can be looked at as a big clock in which the planets rotate positions as if on massive cogs. It is known that Mars was once in the position we are occupying now in the cosmos. They were the third planet with a lush surface, oceans, etc. What is left now after their wars is just their core in which we still find war-torn life. Mars was 3 times larger than Earth, a sad story that was. The name Mars and wars make it not hard to piece together what happened on the scorched red, 26 PAGE. Planet known to be the Marshall Planet of this system. The planet was split into 2 warring factions that went to a stage of war we would call biologically nuclear. The effects were far-reaching, creating a ghost world of infected souls. Lemuria in fact means ghost world. A remnant of one of the Martian factions was sent to Earth just in case their race faced total oblivion. They are today known as the Zulu tribe of Africa. In their legends you will find the history of their advent from Mars. They were warriors. They have no shame in admitting this. The wars fought on Mars continue here on Earth between the 2 factions called Atlanteans and Lemurians. We find Sheka Zulu as one of the earliest African films introduced into our physics for a reason that will be obvious later. The original Phoenicians were also of darker skin tone. It may be of value for you to start seeing these deities, gods, spirits, demons, as beings alien to you because there are many of them that did not originate here on Earth. In ancient times people had gained the knowledge of this and began to emulate the movement of energies, stars, and planets, and thus some became completely alienated from the people. This is also when the elitist religions of the chosen people began to flourish. Those who wished to be in power during a certain era would make pacts and oaths with the spirit energies, and from there they would become fleshly vessels doing the bidding of these rouges by declaring war on all unbelieving infidels. Even the word peace means something must be split up and only a portion remains. The word unity also means a unit or part, not the whole thing. We have grown so accustomed to these words we don't see that every time nations use it as a reason to go to war, we get exactly what we ask for, sending in the units to tear things to pieces. The world has now been divided into so many pieces we have all become isolated from one another, and thus we think our true enemy is our fellow man and women, and silently in the cabal rules one who is not human at all. I shall smite its face. These factions were often at war,